I covered the Jaden Ivy thing the other day, and so that video, I don't know when it's going to be up. K-Fox is setting those up right now. I'm feeling good enough to start doing double uploads on the main channel again, so maybe, hopefully, that video will come out somewhat soon, so that this video here, following up on it, will do its thing. And I'm also hoping that this doesn't go up before then. That would be really weird. But anyway, so TLDR, Jaden Ivey was one of the basketball players for the Chicago Bulls, and that's something that I normally wouldn't cover because I don't care about sports. But he went on a anti-LGBT rant after like meandering, beating around the bush, while doing a weird perspective video in his car for like 5 minutes, saying like, people are allowed to judge food, so why can't I say gay people get to burn in hell? Like, that's the TLDR version of what he said. I know that that's not exactly what he said, but he started to do some follow-ups now, after the Chicago Bulls got rid of him. And make no mistake, the reason the Chicago Bulls got rid of him was because they deemed that his behavior was detrimental to the image of the team. And I kind of get it. Like, imagine this, right? You don't know how many people in your team are LGBTQ. You don't know how many people or who are watching your team are LGBTQ. You don't know how many people who are watching your team happen to be parents of kids who are LGBTQ. You don't know those things. And the Chicago Bulls, very specifically, is a team based around a very eclectic city with a population in the millions. It's just like if you were to grab a team from New York or Atlanta, you probably would not want to say anti-LGBTQ things as a representative of any of those cities, because those cities have very eclectic communities. Now, that doesn't mean that it's okay to spout bigoted bullshit the minute that you happen to not be a representative of a eclectic community, but from the perspective of a PR manager, again, you've got millions of people in your city trying to cheer you on, and then there's that one person that's just like, yeah, 10% of you need to burn in hell. Like, that would be a PR problem to handle. And the way that the right wing sees it is that he's just saying his Christian beliefs. And I'm going to go ahead and say right now, just like I said in that video, I feel like that's really cowardly, because there is a type of person who can be bigoted and own their bigotry. You know, the person who, when you say you're being racist, and they go, yeah, of course. Like, that person at least has a modicum of my respect because they're standing on business. But the standard, like, 2026 Christian, when they decide to be homophobic, they hide behind their book. Instead of accepting the fact that there's plenty of room for interpretation in the Bible and that they don't have to actually be homophobic. There's gay preachers, there's people who are gay who are Christian. They don't have to be anti-LGBTQ to be Christian. That's why there's so many of them who are LGBTQ in the modern age. You don't need to be a bigot to be a Christian. So when people hide behind their book pretending that they have to, they have no choice but to stand on the business of God and actually say that it's bad to be gay because that's what the Bible says, even though you can make an argument for interpretations there, right? Like, when you go into Leviticus, you can make an argument about the man lies with a man thing, because that one can be interpreted as pedastry, because in Greek it was man lies with male, and male meant a young boy at the time. It can also be interpreted as two men lying together isn't the sin, but they were lying together in the bed of a woman, so they were appropriating somebody else's property. Like, there's a lot of ways that verse can be read and has been interpreted over the years. And then when you go to Romans, it's Paul. It's Paul writing a letter to one sect of Christians. That's not the same thing as like a fucking declaration on high. And I feel like Christians don't seem to get that. Like, when you're looking at Romans, when you're looking at Acts, when you're looking at Timothy, these are individual letters that Paul sent out elsewhere that got canonized by a council hundreds of years after his death. That's not the same thing as the red text in the Bible where Jesus is saying shit, right? Anyway, so he's given a bit of a follow-up to everything. And of course, the right wing of our culture is siding with him because it is very in vogue to be a right-wing Christian who is saying that LGBTQ people should burn in hell. That's apparently a thing that we're a-okay with now in 2026. So let's see what he's got to say.
Those who are around me, those are my family members betraying because of what I spoke.
So, okay, already we have an issue. So, if I say something that disparages a family member of mine, that pisses off a family member of mine, getting estranged from that family member is something that very well might happen. It has happened, actually. I've had fights with family over political divides that have caused us to not speak to each other for months at a time, even though we happen to live very close to one another. That's just a thing that happens when you decide to, open your mouth and say bigoted shit. I'm sorry that you think your family's betraying you, but I don't think holding you accountable is considered betrayal.
The truth. Saying that I'm losing my mind. Saying that I'm crazy. These are my own family members.
Yeah, they would say you're... Okay, so consider this. You're a multimillionaire. You were on record to sign, like, what, a $5.3 million deal with the Lakers after this? Your family members saying, hey, you're crazy, risking your career that is making you millions of dollars just so that you can spout bigoted shit that doesn't fucking matter. Like, ultimately, at the end of the day, whether or not you say that gay people should be burning in hell, because make no mistake, when you start quoting Leviticus, when you're saying that they're unrighteous, that's the thing that you're actually saying. That's the subtext behind what you're saying. You may think you're saying it in love, but it's not really coming from a place of love because the person who wants the Bible interpreted that way is not coming from a place of love. So, okay. Any family member that hears you saying those things that would be risking your career is actually coming from a place of love themselves when they are telling you that you are risking your career and you're crazy for doing so. Why the hell would you risk a career that is as lucrative as yours? The percentage of people that manage to get into whether it be college or whether it be national level sports and get multi-million-dollar contracts at that level, whether it be football, soccer, basketball, the amount of people who can go pro is so shockingly low. It is so shockingly rare that if you have that position, it is in your best interest to hold it for as long as you can, make your money, and then if you really want to tell the gays they need to burn in hell, then go become a pastor after that. But like, just from a family member's perspective, I can see them looking at you going, my guy, what the hell are you doing?
My blood, man, he's psycho. He's this, he's that. Those are my own household. That's why.
Yeah, they are trying to tell you that the words you're saying are harmful to you and your career, and not to mention the people around you that get harmed by those opinions.
That's why my wife in here, and she not even texting me.
Man, you know that old Simpsons meme where you get Principal Skinner who's just sitting there going, no, it must be the children who are wrong. That's this fucking shit. That's all this is. Everybody around me is saying, you think, no, it must be them who's wrong. Is he just gonna sit there and... Why is he just sitting there staring at his camera? My guy, you have a media team. Okay, cool. So, that's not the only follow-up that he had as well. He actually has another video that seems to be less on the fly and more this Okay, can we all say what this is in the comment section? By the way, subscribe if you want more of my content, if you want to hear more of my weird opinions here on the internet while I'm talking about this shit. Please consider subscribing to the channel, letting your friends know what I'm doing over here, all that fun stuff that the algorithm enjoys. Comment down below as well. And what I want you to comment about is, does this not look like the pre-ukulele YouTube apology angle? This is the YouTuber's apology angle. I swear to God, I know that's not what he's gonna do, right? Because that's not the way that this saga would go. But that just looks like the angle that I'm so used to seeing from the older YouTube apology videos. Like, just take Shane Dawson or Onision and put them right here, and you've got old YouTube You have some oldies at that point. Sean Helfin says, worst location to film your video. Okay, I used to have a chimney. It was brick and useless. Jet Fatigue says he's going to take a deep breath and sigh. I know he's not going to do the whole, like, guys, I never thought I was going to make this video. I never wanted to make this video, but it really has to be said. I know it's not going to be that, but it is that angle to me. But let me know in the comment section below if that's what you think it is. But let's see what's going on.
There's been many times where God has been so merciful, bro. Like, I've almost committed suicide multiple times, and I'm not ashamed to say it.
Okay.
I'm not ashamed because God was merciful to keep me here.
Okay, so this is one of those things that I just want to throw at you real quick, Jaden, and not that you're ever going to see this. I am a tiny content creator, and I'm in a niche of a niche. I recognize that, but just on the off chance and, you know, for the sake of entertainment, I got to ask you a question. How do you differentiate between random happenstance and God-ordained divine will? I can't think of a way that you differentiate those. I can't think of a way that you can tell which one is which other than, like, vibes. And we don't do a whole lot of stuff just on vibes if we're dealing with questions about, like, the origins of the universe and shit like that. I don't know. I am sorry that you tried to commit suicide, as somebody who has also tried to commit suicide and came out the other end, and did recently have to talk about that with my psychiatrist. That was fun, where they were just, like, pressing for more questions, and then you get the, like, 15 variations of, are you currently suicidal? It's like, no! I have too much going on right now to think about that, but no, not really. So, like, as somebody who has had that experience and has gone through that, has come out the other side, I empathize with you there, but my worry is that there's this toxic cycle where, like, you survived a traumatic experience, so you believe that God got you out of that traumatic experience, and then you feel like you owe so much to God after that that you have to do what his will is, and then you start making up what you think his will is, and then you get caught in whatever opinion you have, and you are now unable to change your opinion because your opinion is aligned with God's will, as far as you're concerned, and, like, now suddenly you're a human being who can never experience growth. That's my worry.
Man, brother.
I almost committed suicide. I had oxy pills in my hand, and my wife was telling me, "Don't do it. Don't."
So wait, hold on. It was God who intervened on you, but your wife was sitting there trying to help you, being a loving partner, telling you not to kill yourself. But it was God, actually. I feel like that's a little demeaning to your wife, don't you?
Do this. Don't go down this road. And God was convicting me, and I didn't know the truth. And so then, man, I didn't do it by God's grace. He kept me here. In terms of, like, LGBTQ. Right? I'm not against the man or the woman. I'm against what is contrary to the word of God.
Okay, so again, this is the standard defense. It is the pathetic defense, honestly. It's the coward's defense. The coward's defense is, I don't hate you. My book tells me I have to hate the things you are. But if you hate the thing that somebody is, then you actually hate them. Like, I don't see how you can't parse that. If I look at a random person and I say, I don't hate you, I hate the fact that you're black. I don't hate you, I hate the fact that you're a guy. I don't hate you, I hate the fact that this, like, you are hating such fundamental aspects of what makes a person who they are. And in many times, these are immutable aspects of themselves that just do not change. You are hating people, you are hating the innermost workings of a person on such a fundamental level that there is no difference between hating that and hating that person. That's the same thing. You can be hanging out with that person every day, claim you love them, but if you think that they need to burn in hell because of something that is A, not their fault, and B, doesn't hurt anybody at all, then I'm sorry, but that's not from a place of love. That is from a place of hatred. And you may not recognize it that way, but that's what makes it so insidious, is because to you, it feels like it's not from a place of hate. Again, I'll use the example that I used in another video of the parent who lives vicariously through their child. And so they want their child to be a ballerina. They make them go to every recital. They make them do everything. They make them go through all the workouts. And according to the parent, they are just letting the child achieve their dreams. But the child does not want to be a ballerina. In fact, they actually hate it. But they want to impress their parent. They want to do what their parent wants. And so they keep sacrificing and sacrificing and sacrificing who they are, what they want to do with their lives in order to do the thing their parent wants to do, living vicariously through them. Is the parent doing something from a place of love? No, they're doing something from a place of selfishness. That's the same thing you're doing here. When you're telling people to change such fundamental aspects about themselves so they don't literally burn in hell. That's what the alternative is in your worldview. The alternative is them burning in hell. And if God is all good, then if they're burning in hell, they have to deserve it. Like, if you think about any of this stuff at a deeper level than just, oh, hate the sin, not the sinner, then you'll realize that hate the sin, not the sinner is bullshit.
Man is not supposed to lie with a man, and a woman is not supposed to lie with a woman. So for me,
I'm gonna go ahead and go out on a limb and say that this man has not only been in a threesome with multiple women, but has also jerked it to lesbian porn. Every one of these motherfuckers that does this whole, like, anti-LGBTQ, I gotta proclaim it from on high with God, every single one of them has done this shit that they are projecting as bad and will burn people in hell. Every single time.
me as a Christian, as a born-again Christian who believes in Jesus Christ, right, I can proclaim the truth.
So, out of curiosity, what is the case when there is another Christian who is proclaiming the truth, but their truth happens to contradict your truth? Like, how do you square that circle?
What the Word of God says, and I can do that with freedom. I have a mouth to speak. No one can stop me.
Right, nobody can stop you. That's never been the point. You have freedom of speech. You can do that. You can say things. And people are able to respond in kind. Like that, when you use your freedom of speech, then people are going to respond in kind. As an example, like just from myself, okay? I chose to do VTubing because I thought it would be a funny joke. And 5 years later, I'm still here, still doing it, because I've enjoyed everything that has come from it. There are people who hate me for VTubing. There are people who do not like the fact that I use a female avatar, and 100% make sure that they let anybody know that they think I'm a freak, an asshole, or whatever. And then you've got people who like used to watch my content and then stopped watching my content because of the VTuber thing because it freaked them out or whatever the fuck. I made a choice, and they have the freedom to associate with my channel or not. That is a two-way street. I can't sit here and just complain about it all day. That doesn't do me any good. I made a decision because I feel like this is no different than choosing a female character in a fighting game or an RPG. Like, congratulations, you played Katana in Mortal Kombat. I guess you're trans. Like, that's how it sounds to me when somebody says that with VTubing, because it's just putting a character on a screen. It's no different at all. So if somebody, however, decides to choose not to associate with me because of that, that is their right. Like they have a right to do that. That is a thing that they can do. And I've had people reach out to me about that. I've had people even in real life tell me how weirded out they are by the thing that I do as a job. And you know what? That is fine. They have the freedom to do that. They are allowed to do that. You need to be willing to accept that when you say things that are, let's just say bigoted in this case, because they are, when you say things that are bigoted, the end result is going to be that people are going to choose that they do not want to associate with you as a result. That can be people, that can be friends, that can be family, that can be companies. It can be anything. They can choose not to be around you because of what you are saying.
Right.
Who is to stop me? Right? That's the devil. The devil wants me to stop from speaking the truth.
Is your family the devil? Is your wife the devil? Is that what this boils down to? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the devil would do. My conduct was not detrimental to the team.
Again, Chicago Bulls. Chicago being a city with a population in the millions, and cities happen to have a higher propensity for people to be LGBTQ in them, because when you have a more eclectic group of people, people are more likely to be out as themselves instead of, how it is when you're in rural areas. Unless somebody's in big online communities, they tend to try to keep that shit in the closet a lot more often when they're in rural America. The Chicago Bulls are going to go, yeah, no, there's a non-zero amount of our audience, a significantly non-zero amount of our audience that are not going to be on board with that kind of language. And you, as a player on the team, are a representative of the Chicago Bulls in this case. I'm sorry. Like if I was working at a store, say I'm working at Aldi, I'm working at Publix, I'm working at Kroger, whatever, and I start saying just randomly, I do not think that gay people get to heaven. I think they burn in hell. And I think they deserve it. Because, again, that's what you're doing. You are not using that many words, but that is the end result of your speech. If I were to sit here and ask you what happens to a gay person if they are not right with God, and your answer would be they burn in hell, and, okay, is every decision God makes good? Is every decision God makes correct? Is every decision God makes just? Okay, cool. Then you think it is good, right, and just that they are burning in hell. You think it is good, right, and just that your friends, family, people you represent, people you play through, burn in hell. That is what you think. And if you try to backpedal from that, then you have to change either your perspective or the perspective of your God. So if I'm saying those things in the middle of a store, or I'm saying them loudly on the internet, and then somebody in my local area has to go see me at that store, and they suddenly don't feel safe around me anymore. They don't want to deal with that. And my store says, hey, you are a representative of our store. You are a representative of us. So we have a couple of options. We can either make sure that you are never working in front of customers ever again, or we can let you go. Most of the time, it's easier for a company to just let you go because there's way less friction when that is the case. It's very easy for a company to just drop somebody, especially in modern day America. So a company would have every right to just say, no, we don't want to associate with you anymore. It looks bad for us. It is bad for our business. It is bad for our image, and we do not want to deal with that shit. Okay, cool. That is a perfectly reasonable thing for them to do. You are on the ass end of that, and you are upset about that. You are upset, in short, that you had repercussions for saying that gay people should burn in hell.
That is a lie. I was a good teammate to those around me. I was a good teammate on the floor. I made the right plays. I did exactly what the coach asked me to do on a daily basis. Whatever was needed, whatever was required of me to do, I was willing, right? And so my conduct was not detrimental to the team.
Okay, so remember that as a player, your team is not just the people on the court. Your team consists of the people on the court, the coach, and your media image, which means now your media team is part of that as well. Your ability for the team to get brand deals, your ability for the team to secure funding, your ability for the team to do anything is interconnected in a giant web of corporate mishmash bullshit. What is the team? Where your responsibilities for the team lie do not stop at playing well on the basketball court. They extend further than that. You are responsible for the image of your team as well.
It's strictly because I spoke the truth of the word of God and was preaching the gospel.
Also, this is one of the reasons why I think maybe we should move away from saying that the everybody on the right is a grifter. There certainly are grifters on the right. Absolutely. There are people like Tectone who 100% saw Asmongold making money doing right-wing content, and so he started doing that as well. There is Asmongold who gets probably drinking his own Kool-Aid at this point on the right-wing shit. Like, there certainly are grifters on the right, but there's also just as many people who believe what they are saying so wholeheartedly that they will sacrifice all kinds of things for what they are saying. And at that point, saying it's a right-wing grift, that doesn't help anybody. It doesn't explain anything. But what it does do is it shows that you think that you are in another person's head and you can argue for what's in their head. I don't think that's incredibly useful, and I'm starting to feel like that's less and less useful day by day. Instead, I think looking at the actual material conditions that you affect around you is infinitely more useful. And, well, again, you affected the material conditions around you in a way that was bad.
That's why it was detrimental to the team, right? And I've witnessed and to many on my team the truth. And
I witnessed to many on my team the truth. Okay, so you proselytized to the people on your team. I had to deal with this shit when I worked at Aldi. There was a guy there who was the loudest born again Christian. He brought his Bible into the store all the time. He was either always reading it or he was always trying to convince one of us to be Christian. Now, one of our managers was a Catholic, and another one of them, I don't remember what denomination they were, but different denominations, and he was trying to get them to convert away from their denominations as well. Instead of focusing on, the shared experiences as Christians that they had, he tried to proselytize them into whatever version of his religion that he wanted, and he did the same thing with me. Now, this was really early on in my time as an atheist content creator, so I was a very angry individual at this time, so I responded to those things fairly badly, and I would do things like not allow the guy to speak and instead speak down to him. And granted, these are not good things. These are not good debate tactics. These are not good tactics for having a conversation that yields any fruit. But I was younger and dumber at the time, so I did those things. But regardless, I have been in the position of being the person who has the very, very Christian guy in the team constantly proselytizing to you, and I fucking hated it then. So I can only imagine what it was like for your teammates in that case. Now, granted, again, I'm not in their shoes. I don't know how inconvenient it was to them or not. I have no idea. But I know that when it was me, it was frustrating as hell.
Those things, right? Everyone has their beliefs.
Amen.
Everyone believes in something.
Well, how is your physical health? Are you healing? But also, secondly, are you ready and able to play professional basketball? Like tomorrow, if a team called you, would you be willing to do that?
Yeah, if a team called me tomorrow, I'd be able to play pickup. I'd be able to play 5-on-5. I'd be able to go to the hoop, get buckets, to play basketball.
So if a team called you, but again, any team that looks at you right now, they're going to see you as a representative of them. Now, that doesn't mean that they're not going to call you. That could be the case. I am not 100% certain. But my position is still what it is. I think that if the thing that you need to say so hard that you are willing to destroy your own career is that gay people should burn in hell, do not mince words, that is what the end result of your ideology is, then I'm sorry, but I don't have any spoons to spare. I don't have any ability to care about your plight. And I'm going to see any talking about your plight as whining, because you decided to be a bigot. And in deciding to be a bigot, you chose bigotry over millions of dollars. Just think about that. Think about that for just a fucking minute. Dude chose bigotry over millions of dollars. How? You can't make this shit up. It is wild. And this is, again, why I think maybe saying this is right-wing grift may not be the greatest thing in the world to do, because while there are people who do successfully do the right-wing grift thing and make a lot of money being stupidly controversial, there's just as many people who have either drunk their own Kool-Aid or believed wholeheartedly, irrespective of that they are in the right and that they know what God wants and all that dumb shit. There's just as many people who are true believers as there are people who are grifters, and I have no way of knowing which one's which. And I think that most other people don't know either. Sean Helpin says, seriously, the Southern funeral that I'm remembering right now is so annoying. Yes, your son is now burning in the fires of hell, along with the bitch that he was in the car with. Word forbade him from the preacher that was several years ago. Jesus Christ. I would slap that fucking preacher. I'm sorry, but that would be one of those things where I would go up there and go, okay, look, you have two choices here. You can either take that the fuck back, or we are gonna throw hands. You decide which way we go. And I know that's very much like the talking a big game thing, but like if somebody said that about my dad or my mom, I would be fucking I would be fucking pissed. I would be fucking pissed at that point. And I would probably be spending a night in a jail cell. I don't want to do that ever again, but it's Jesus Christ. So once something gets said, it cannot be taken back to me. I understand that. I cannot live in that world as a content creator. As somebody who has to do public relationship with hundreds of people at a time, I cannot be that person because that is a mentality that, while very safe and protective, does lead to lots of bridge burning, and I don't think that that bridge burning is particularly useful in my personal situation. Don Elvin says, it was the family friend along with my mom and dad. I was the family friend along with my mom and dad who were there. Jesus fucking hell. Yeah, no, I would be angry. But yeah, no, that's the update on the Jaden Ivey situation. He really wants to play basketball right now, but he also really wants to tell gay people they want to burn in hell. So I don't know. Would you sign him on? Hey, you made it to the end. I want to give an extra thanks to the patrons who allow me to do this full time. I want to thank Aaron Rail, Astral, Britzkrieg, Jemshin, Poundini, Red Joker, Victoria, Jonas, Craig, Tarika, Fireshard, Smiling GM, John, Dren Hadamada, Creeper, Sagitta, you know I'm not saying that last part, Sylvie Snow, Valis of Seraph, Ottoman Angel, Rooster Rachel, and Fire Panda, who are all my $20 and up patrons.